too many times, we're stuck on sexual desires and sexual lust, but we cannot do that. When you're talking about being married to someone for the rest of your life, it's so serious. What's up, YouTube? I am Shanika Lawrence. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. I'm coming to you with another video today, waiting to marry. This is for all the single people, right? All the single people. Listen to what I am saying, okay? Come in, just come in a little bit closer. Come in closer. Okay, let me tell you something, okay? Do not rush getting married. Okay? I've been married for almost 13 years. This year will be 13 years in August. Thank God. Praise the Lord. I'm so excited. God has been good. He's been great. And the marriage has been, wonderful. Of course, we've gone through different things, but it's just been, a beautiful experience overall. Now, because I have been in this marriage, okay, I can tell you that there are some reasons why you want to wait to marry, okay? I don't care how old you are, how young you are, or what age you are. You never want to rush into a marriage because you never know what you're going to really get yourself into until that marriage comes. A lot of times we think that things are, going to be about the same, and normally they are. Like, you have to remember, especially when it comes to like red flags and things like that, if you see things before you got married, then you can expect to see that double time when you get married, and then vice versa. If you see, really sweetness, chivalry, somebody's really clean, something like that, you're gonna see that 9 times out of 10 in the marriage. However, there are some times, when things kind of get a little bit shifty when you get married. You're able to make whatever decision that you want to make when you're single, or even if you're just dating. When you're dating others, you're still, legally classified as single. So when you're in that state, you can break up with whomever, you can leave, whatever you want to do. But when you're in a marriage, it's not so easy. It's not as simple as, many people make it sound. So you really want to make sure that it is something that you know exactly what you're getting yourself into. So number one, I would say that, you have to make sure that you know yourself the best, that you know yourself first, that you have given yourself all of the love and the encouragement that you need from you, that you have the self-esteem that you need to endure a marriage. Because let me tell you, especially when you are in a marriage with, for example, myself, I've been married since I was 18. And of course, me and my husband, we're both good looking people. And, of course, I had to make sure that I have my esteem, to a certain level so that I'm not getting insecure or things like that. When my husband goes out, he's a musician, so he's always going into different scenes around all kind of different women and different kind of people and stuff. And if I was insecure, then I would probably have an issue with that. I would be the kind of person that would be like, oh my gosh, what's going on, and all of that kind of stuff. But you have to make sure that you are set and secure and that you love every part of your own self so that nobody can validate you, right? And then you got to make sure that you understand that you have already been validated by God. And once you understand that, then, again, it's not about what any man or woman thinks about you. It is who God says that you are. Number two, you really want to wait until you get married, because even though you can get financially stable within a marriage, you probably should get financially stable on your own outside of a marriage. Why? Because, one income is great. 2 incomes is even better, right? And so you want to have the kind of structure in your marriage where, you're bringing in your own money, and it doesn't have to be from a 9 to 5. It can be because you're an entrepreneur or things like that. And then your wife or your husband that you decide to marry, that they are bringing in also, different funds, and they have, drive and different things that they're going after. And when you put your two together, it just makes it so much better. You guys are able to accomplish so much more. And so, maybe you say that, well, I am, financially stable, or hey, you got a little up right there. But if you are not, then I would suggest that, maybe you guys are a little bit more financially stable. Just back to my husband and I story. when we first got married, we were just so ready to get married, okay? Like, we were just like, we gotta get married. We got married and we moved with my in-laws, and we stayed there for a year until we got our first apartment. Now, while we were there at our first apartment, things didn't work out. We had to leave. We went to my parents. We moved out of there. We got our own apartment again, and then we rented a home, and then after that, we bought a home, right? And so, you know, it took us a while to get to that place. However, you know, we would have been, I guess, in a better position if our finances were in a, you know, in a more, I guess, a more laid out, structured kind of way. It was just like not that way. But again, you know, I wouldn't regret anything. I'm happy that, you know, we made it this far together. I think the thing is, like, you know, a lot of times they say that financial issues are one of the main reasons why people are getting divorces. And sometimes that can be because of those kind of things. You weren't stable before you got into the relationship or you got married. So, you know, it was kind of harder to, you know, kind of get everything together. Luckily, again, we were young. We were able to grow together and kind of build different things with each other along the way. And it really worked for us. Number 3, why you should wait until you get married is because sometimes you have to see how life has affected an individual. I think that life changes an individual over time. And sometimes we're not able to see just how different those life changes will cause people to you know, become affected. So when I say waiting, just in general, I just want to say that I'm not saying, you know, wait till you're 30 to get married, wait till you're 40. What I'm saying is, if you're in a relationship with someone, don't, you know, just jump into, you know, a marriage so quickly, you know. And I'm telling you this, but me and my husband were only together for about a year and a half before we got married at 18. But we also knew each other for a long time before we actually like started dating. So it was a little different. Like, we did have a lot of history with each other before we actually started dating. So, you know, especially somebody that's brand new, you know, you just want to take your time for a minute. So here's the thing. You want to get to know this person through all seasons, right? You want to know them when, you know, when they mad, when they sad, when they happy, when somebody betrays them, when they feel like they're losing it mentally, when stuff is going on in their life. You want to see. It's kind of hard to trust like a situation where you're like, they've never gotten mad at me, they've never yelled, or they never, I mean, you know, that you do have people like that, right? You have people that are like, I'm just not going to argue, and that's okay. But I mean people that just don't express themselves, because again, it can really surprise you later on when something really big happens and then they start expressing themselves all kind of crazy. And you're like, wait a minute, I've never seen this side of you. So you want to make sure that you see all sides of an individual before you get married. All right, so another reason why you want to wait to get married is because you want to make sure that you have made the proper preparation. And, you know, it takes a lot of preparation, not only physically, it takes a lot of preparation mentally, it takes a lot of preparation spiritually. So I think that you should take that time while you're dating, during the dating period, to prepare in all of those areas, all of those leads, right? You want to make sure that you are giving yourself time to grow and to develop, and that you're really seeking God out about this individual. Because, you know, nowadays things are so different. People are just like, you know, telling you they one thing and they really are something else. And, you know, it's a lot of delusion and deceiving that is happening in our world today. And we just want to be sure that we're really guarding ourselves, guarding our heart with all diligence, that we're not so easily swayed by words and emotions, and that we're really being led by the Holy Spirit. And this is why it's important to invite God into your relationship. So, you know, during that time, I think that it's also a vetting process. I think that during that time, you know, it's a process to get to know yourself more. And it's a time to really build and prepare yourself in all of the areas so that you can make sure that when you finally say I do, that you are so sure, you are incredibly sure. Matter of fact, when you're walking down the aisle, this is the surest that you have been in your entire life. I just want to make sure that you know that you have the right to wait. You have the right to wait. You don't have to push and try to move and get married so quickly. Yes, it is some people's dreams to be married and to be with a man and to have a woman and to have, you know, different things in their lives. But let me tell you, once you're in that covenant and you've made that decision and that agreement, again, it's not easy to get out of. It also is so important because it affects your children. It affects your future. It affects your, you know, the way that you live life, the way that you think about life, the way that you interact with different things in your life. It all affects you. So you just want to make sure that you've taken that time. Now, we're going to get into counseling in another time, but I just want to say that this is why counseling is really important during that premarital process, because, you know, somebody told me that if I can get you to pull apart from each other during counseling, then you guys should not be married. Why? Because during that time, you know, you may not have paid attention to some things that you guys talked about within that counseling session, and it kind of brought animosity. It caused resentment and things like that. And maybe that was just a sign that you need more time to get to know each other. And so, you know, we really want to take that time out again to get to know who you're marrying. You want to know this person, know them that labor among you, know them that's going to be sleeping in your home, in your bed beside you, know who that individual is from the inside out. Too many times, you know, we're stuck on sexual desires and sexual lust, but we cannot do that. You know, when you're talking about being married to someone for the rest of your life, it's so serious. So guys, just wanted to give you guys a few tips and why it's important to just take the time to marry. And while you're waiting, just continue to do you. Just continue to grow. Just continue to get to know who you are. Just continue to deepen your self-love. Continue to work on those different things, you know, while you don't have a whole lot of responsibilities. Whatever you want to work on, grow in, build in, invest in, different things like that. Just make sure that you take that time and those opportunities to do it, because things are going to change just a little when you tie the knot. All right, guys, I hope that helps somebody. Y'all have a great evening. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys very soon in the next video. Bye.